everyone. 8 o'clock here on this Tuesday morning. Thank you for streaming with us here on KARE 11 Plus. Jason and Alicia with you. And the weather has taken a turn, hasn't it?
It's weathering. It is weathering.
Oh, the weather outside is weather.
Let's get to John.
What was that?
I don't know.
Oh,
KARE
yeah.
11 Plus stuff. You
I
know.
love it. It's genius. It is 0. Is that what it says? 0 degrees out here right now. Boy, it's funny what 1 inch of snow does to your temperature if it clears out. Looking up there, partly cloudy maybe right now. Definitely a cold start to the day. We have wind chills at 20 below. You can always see a cold Minneapolis scene there when you get the steam stacks in the background. It's been colder, but for the past 2 weeks, this is it. Temperatures are, well, there you go, -1. We did go below 0 here this morning, -1 degrees, and we've got the feels like temperature at 17 below. The low temperature always gets hit right around, well, in the wintertime, 7:30 to 8. Right now, it's always before the sun comes up. So in the summer, that's 4 in the morning. Sun comes up so much earlier. So again, yeah, your low actually gets hit. The nighttime low, actually, you gotta wait all the way till now to get your low temperature. So -1, -4, -8. Everybody with snowpack is in the negatives now, including Wilmer. But if you don't have snowpack, what does that do? Get you to 1. Who cares? Doesn't matter. It's cold anywhere. And you have winds right now at 10. So winds are going to lighten up a bit today, so that's nice. The wind chill should subside as we head into the afternoon. We've got winds at 10 miles per hour. But right now, 17 below 0. You see the winds lighten up in Brainerd, makes it feel like -8, but some of us at -20. But with the winds lightening up, I do think that I had a question today from Nicole. Are the kids going outside? I said, I think so. Some schools are -10. I asked the Waconia Public Schools. They're -10 for the kids. I think some other schools can be 0. But theoretically speaking, we're going to be 0 around 3 or 4 p.m. So some schools might not go outside today. It just really depends. -4, -2 in the afternoon. Not a warm day. It's a cold day. Winds will lighten up. It'll get better. And we'll see tonight temperatures hovering the upper single digits. So it won't be as cold tonight. But that's because we're driving in clouds and we're going to be driving in that system. That system comes in tomorrow afternoon. We'll time it all out for you in your forecast. CC.
Hey, good morning. Hope your day is off to a good start. I'm tracking a crash. Can't see it on camera, so I'm thinking it might have cleared. But it's near Rogers, 94 eastbound between Brockton Lane and Dayton Parkway. Even though I'm not seeing the crash, you're seeing the backup from what's happening as you head toward 494 and then 94. So if you're coming, especially from Monticello or even the Rogers area, you're going to have a little bit more of a to add to your commute if you're headed toward 94 or 494. Just a heads up for those late morning commuters.
Thank you, CC. Well, hey, take a look at your screen right now. An Amber Alert is in effect for a missing pregnant teen in Wisconsin. Officials say 16-year-old Sophia Franklin was last seen at her home in Beaver Dam Sunday night. That's just northwest of Milwaukee. She's believed to be with 40-year-old Gary Day, who they say is the father of the baby. The two have a no-contact order. Anyone with any information is asked to call 911. Now to our top story, the U.S. has staved off a trade war with 2 of its top allies, at least for now.
But while you were sleeping, tariffs against imported goods coming from China took effect. Michelle Beck is in the newsroom to break down what it means moving forward. Michelle.
Well, guys, Trump plans to talk with China's president in the next few days, but already this top trading partner has fired back. In the last few hours, China announced a new 15% tariff on American coal and liquefied natural gas. That's on top of a 10% tariff on U.S. products from crude oil to pickup trucks. These measures are set to take effect next Monday, a response to Trump's 10% tariff on all Chinese imports kicking in overnight. And mere minutes after it did, China called out specific U.S. companies, including Google. It's now being investigated for alleged antitrust violations.
China hopefully is going to stop sending us fentanyl, and if they're not, the tariffs are going to go substantially higher.
For now, Trump has put a pause on the tariffs he threatened against Canada and Mexico, saying they've made concessions around border security. Alicia.
Michelle, thank you. Well, developing overnight, the federal government announced it's now investigating the University of Minnesota, citing reports of anti-Semitism. Now, the Education Department says it's part of an executive order from President Trump following a, quote, explosion of anti-Semitism on college campuses after the October 7th attacks in Israel. The Education Department is also opening civil rights investigations into 4 other universities, including Columbia and Berkeley. In a statement, the department said, quote, too many universities have tolerated widespread anti-Semitic harassment and the illegal encampments that paralyzed campus life last year, driving Jewish life and religious expression underground. Meanwhile, the U says they got the notice of the investigation yesterday afternoon and are cooperating. They went on to say that they have and will respond to reports of harassment and bias against Jewish members of the community.
Right now, 2 airport employees are facing charges after last week's deadly mid-air collision in D.C. According to the airport authority officials, the employees made an unauthorized copy of video showing the crash and then shared it with media outlets. We're also learning crews plan to lift the plane's cockpit from the Potomac River by today, as long as weather cooperates. The wreckage will be taken to a hangar for the National Transportation Safety Board to continue investigating the cause of the collision. So far, officials have identified 55 of the 67 people killed.
A jury is now seated and opening statements will begin Monday in the trial of the alleged mastermind behind the Feeding Our Future meal fraud. Amy Bach, the former executive director of the nonprofit, faces charges of conspiracy, wire fraud, bribery, and federal program fraud, along with Salim Saeed, former owner of Safari Restaurant in Minneapolis. 2 others were supposed to stand trial with them, but they pleaded guilty last week. Now they could end up testifying against Bach and Saeed. A number of others who recently pleaded guilty to fraud could also be used as witnesses.
This morning, Minnesota House Republicans are launching a recall effort against DFL legislators who have been boycotting the session. The recall petition process officially began in the last 15 hours when the 66 DFL lawmakers once again did not show up for the House floor session. House DFLers are boycotting the session in protest to the GOP's plan to organize with a temporary 1-seat majority. The House GOP is launching a website today, www.minnesotarecall.com.
This morning, the Minnesota Senate Finance Committee is reviewing federal funding coming to the state as President Trump attempts to freeze funds. A judge extending the temporary block for another 2 weeks as it was set to expire yesterday. They'll hear from the Department of Education on how the freeze could affect students, teachers, and public schools. And this comes as Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison is warning federal employees to be cautious about the Trump administration's buyout offer. Many federal employees got an email last week offering pay and benefits through the end of September. Ellison, along with 11 other state attorneys general, say that the benefits aren't guaranteed and said that employees should check with union leaders before making any decisions.
Time now 8:07. This morning we're learning more about the progress of ongoing reform in the Minneapolis Police Department. This is all part of a settlement following George Floyd's murder in 2020. The update comes from the first semi-annual report from an independent evaluator. It shows the city is on track to meet most of its year 1 goals. The report covers the period from March 2024 to September 2024. Progress is shown in several areas, including trainings, tackling misconduct, complaint backlogs, and policy revisions.
Being able to bang this stuff out, so much of it is I think is the most important thing for a year 1 in any consent decree. You got to have the policies right first before you can implement anything, and then still before you can implement it, you have to have your training developed.
The Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara went on to say he is fully committed to implementing the required changes.
8:08 here on KARE 11 Plus. Oh, look at that. That looks nice,
it
doesn't
does.
it? I mean, it's -1, but it's nice. A nice -1. More snow possible tomorrow. I was a little disappointed with how much I got in my yard. Just a dusting.
It wasn't
Right.
much, but it's setting the stage, John, for more snow events here this February.
Yeah, the one yesterday was just a pain, right? If we're going to get snow and we're going to have a bunch of accidents, we might as well give me 6 to 10 inches because we're going to just do that a bunch. And we got about a ½ inch for a lot of us yesterday. Wednesday night, we got another chance for snow. Wednesday night into Thursday morning. So the commutes that will be impacted, Wednesday evening mainly, and then maybe Thursday morning, a little icy still. Those 2 are the next commutes that will be impacted. But we haven't seen a lot of snow. I don't have to tell you that. We did hit double digits. Now, maybe surprisingly enough, like, wow, this seems, emotions are not scientific, right? So when you think about like, oh, you can think back maybe 5 or 10 years, or maybe you think the 1 year that was really dry. Typically, when you think about like really lack of snow totals, you can't figure out where does that lie? We got to look at climatology data. There's actually been about 18 years with less snow than this. Isn't that remarkable? So this is pretty common, actually, to have winters with these super dry stretches without snow. And then, who knows, we'll play a bunch of catch up. And that's what happens in the Midwest. It's not like we have an ocean or a lake to give us consistent moisture. That's why areas on the south shore of, obviously the Iron Range, let's say, or the UP, they're always going to get 200 inches of snow because they've got the moisture. We need luck, and obviously it hasn't fallen there. With that all being said, it will change. Now, what we've seen so far is 10 in Minneapolis, 16 in St. Cloud. 16 in St. Cloud, that means that most of the systems have been moving north of the Twin Cities, obviously, and actually St. Cloud averages less than the Twin Cities because it's just far enough north to miss those major Colorado lows on average that actually move in, which we've seen 0 of those because those dump 10 inches of snow. We've seen 0 Colorado lows this year. We should get at least, usually you get about 5 to 7 of those a year, and you got to hit, right? You got to hit on a couple to get your snow for the year. So far, 0. If we hit on 2 of them, it'll be 20 inches of snow. Minus 17 right now, minus 8 in Brainerd. I better stop babbling because I'm out here in the freezing cold weather. It is 0 and minus 15. Now, as we go into the afternoon, we'll get to around minus 1. But notice that the winds lighten up. The temperature's not that warm today, but it doesn't cool down overnight, so 9, 10 p.m. It'll actually be warmer at 9 or 10 p.m. than it is right now. So 14 for our high, 11 in St. Cloud. Still got that nice snowpack to the north, single-digit lows. It's a cold February day. High pressure gives us a nice quiet Wednesday morning. So tomorrow morning, you're good. At this time tomorrow, not going to be dealing with snow. The low starts to come in, and the warm air starts to already precipitate. So what's going on is we have this really cold air. This is part of the snowstorm that we're dealing with right now. Because notice we're not even near the low. Just some warm air advection moving on this really cold air is enough lift to give us snow. So this is 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. 5, 6, 7, I'm expecting maybe a burst of snow. And then notice the low comes in and it shifts the heavy snow axis here to the northeast. Northern Wisconsin, looks like the Iron Range, North Shore, that's where we'll probably see 3 or 4 inches of snow. And we're kind of on the edge of this here in the metro. And then it clears by Thursday morning. So I like this map. Again, it's 2 models that overlay on top of each other for 2 inches or more of snow. It doesn't tell you 5 or 6, it's just 2 or more. Where they overlap, you have a good chance of this. Now that you'll notice the Twin Cities, well, both models overlap that we're going to get 2. I think that we have a chance at 2 inches of snow, 1 or 2. And now this would come with that evening threat, and then shifting to the north, they'll get more of the 4 or 5 inches because they're going to get hit with kind of both. We'll get more of that early batch of snow. Now, if you're watching in Mankato, Wilmer, and Marshall, yeah, we're not going to get a lot of snow there because, again, the system is moving north, and it looks like you might even see some freezing drizzle down here. It's going to erode snow totals. So where would I bet on the most snow? Brainerd, Grand Rapids, Duluth, 4 to 6 inches. Here in the Twin Cities, 1 to 3 is where I'm at right now. More 1 on the south side, 3 on the northeast side, if it stays where it's at right now. But again, we got to gear up for that. That's PM snow on Wednesday. Thursday afternoon and Friday morning look pretty quiet. And then Saturday, that's actually the better chance for snow. To be honest with you, that's the best chance for snow and the plows to come out for 2025. The entire winter so far, that Saturday is the one, if it can work out. The reason we don't have it warned or anything like that or any advisories because it's too far away. Things can change, we know that, but I think it's best to prepare for snow Saturday morning. If I had to put a percentage on it, right now I'd say a 70% chance for more than 2 inches on Saturday.
That's a pretty good chance.
Not bad.
All right, thanks, John. Well, a local woman's hobby is grabbing major attention this morning.
Coming up in this week's Land of 10,000 Stories, the masterpieces she's spending months to complete. That's coming up at 8:25.
Looking forward to that. But first, a lack of snow this year is causing some headaches for some Minnesota businesses. How they're dealing with it, that's in 3 minutes.
8:16 on the clock. Welcome back to KARE 11 Plus. We are live from Washington, D.C., where in less than an hour, the Senate Finance Committee will vote on Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s nomination to become Secretary of Health and Human Services. Now, this comes after two heated confirmation hearings last week. Ahead of today's vote, all eyes are on Louisiana Republican Senator Bill Cassidy, who expressed concern over the candidate. Now, Republicans only have a single seat advantage in the committee, and if Cassidy votes no, along with Democrats, the vote would fail. If RFK Jr. passes today's committee vote, his nomination would then go to the full Senate before he can be confirmed. And the Senate Intelligence Committee is taking a vote today on Tulsi Gabbard. She is President Trump's pick to become Director of National Intelligence. Following a rocky confirmation hearing, she now has the backing of two key Republicans, Senators Susan Collins and James Lankford.
Well, check your fridge this morning. The FDA is recalling broccoli. This broccoli right here sold at Walmarts in 20 states. The agency is now labeling it deadly risk because of possible listeria contaminations. The impacted product is Braga Fresh's market-side 12-ounce bags of broccoli. So far, no illness has been reported, but if you do have this in your fridge, you're asked to throw it out immediately. All right, 8:17. A live look from our Skycam. Beautiful shot overlooking the golf course here in Golden Valley. Looking pretty nice. Clear morning, but we are expecting snow tomorrow, John. And the timing of that, again, I'm not sure if it's great for the evening commute. We're going to get to him in a little bit.
Yeah, we got to talk here about the impact, though. It's good news for many people and businesses who rely on winter, the snow that we're getting. But despite the snowfall this week, we're still well below where we normally are at this time of year. Ian Russell talked with some business owners to see how they're coping.
Our newest one here is the John Deere 324.
When you buy something new, the last thing you want to do is let it sit.
Has probably 3 hours on it so far.
But for Chris Halverson of North Star Outdoor Services,
That's all we've got to do. So.
his brand new snowplow sure hasn't seen much this year.
And we're not stressed out about it, but it's the team that's trying to get their hours in to take care of their family that we really got to work for.
Hours cut short with not much snow.
We ended up with a skeleton team and we pushed people back to 4 o'clock, pushed them back to 5 o'clock.
It's a similar frustration he's felt for the past 2 years now.
Last year was light, this year's looking to be light.
In Eden Prairie, where Chris was, not much snow to speak of. And in Elk River, at least some snow stuck.
Yeah, a little bit. It's a little different. It's kind of nice though.
City crews route clearing sidewalks with more snow falling in the North Metro.
That's that one.
Light work as snow totals are once again not hitting where they should.
We ended January with less than 10 inches of snow on the season. That's pretty rare, and at this point we should be 20 inches more than that.
Mike Griesinger with the National Weather Service knows there's a lot of winter left, but it's not great that we still haven't seen more snow yet.
2 years in a row to kind of be skunks like this is pretty abnormal, although there's still a lot of winter in front of us.
Now left waiting for the snow like the rest of us.
It does look like we'll get plenty of opportunities for more snow.
Left waiting like Chris and his crews.
And even if we have to sit and wait, sometimes for it to wind up and really gear up and go, we're ready.
In Eden Prairie, Ian Russell, KARE 11 News.
Yeah, 2 years ready. I mean, last winter we all forget, but they don't.
Right, no, they don't. Yeah, 3 years ago, it was record-breaking snow.
Right.
Yeah, that was my first winter here, and
was a
within
good
the
welcome
first
for
couple
you.
of weeks I was here, there was a giant snowstorm. We had to
It
stay in
was crazy.
hotels.
It was crazy.
It was crazy, but yeah, last couple of winters just haven't been
Yeah.
hitting.
So this is for my man, Tony Hansen, the guy who taught me everything at St. Cloud State. Smartest man I know, smartest meteorologist I've ever met. He always tells me, don't ever use the word normal. I'm not allowed to use the word normal. None of the meteorologists at St. Cloud can say normal. It's an average, and chaos is normal. So the chaos part of this is normal. That's what makes an average. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So everything in Minnesota is normal. Does that make sense? So we get 2 inches right now. That's right. You see what I'm saying? There is no like should be. There is no this is how it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I get that.
Okay.
I mean, we would all like to control weather because we all like to control things, but weather you just can't control.
You can't.
Can't. It's a.
That was
it's an
that was
exact science.
that was like philosophical.
Was it?
I don't know. I hope so. I try
Thank
to teach.
you for that.
Yeah.
Clearly, I didn't impact Cece.
No, I get what you're saying. Don't make assumptions, right? Okay. There's a crash in Coon Rapids. Wow. Highway 10 eastbound, this is near Main Street. Authorities actually just got to the scene a couple minutes ago. It doesn't look like it's slowing anything down as you're headed toward Fridley, Blaine, Spring Lake Park, but just a heads up to try to stay to your left if you can, if you're leaving out the door soon. Hi, John.
Hi, I think my mic was bumping. How come? Is it good? Was that my mic? Okay, I think we're good to go. Sorry if that was pop, 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 pop. All right, we are good to go. It is cold out here right now. We're dealing with temperatures at 15 to 20 below zero. Yeah, I think it's just good to understand that, and I always sometimes have to pinch myself, that averages are just an average, right? Again, there's standard deviation and there's the mean and there's all kinds of things that we use in science land that are more actually effective than average. Because here in Minnesota, it doesn't work very well. So here we're looking at a snow depth, and you can see the snow depth is obviously very weak around the metro. It deepens, it's very deep as you get into northern Minnesota. Brainerd, Grand Rapids, and Duluth, again, you can see deep snowpack up there. We've got 1 inch. I will tell you, at this point, for the rest of February, everything that falls, for the most part, will accumulate and stay. Now, it always compacts, snow compacts, so you aren't gonna, if you get 20 inches, you'll probably end up with 10 on the ground eventually. But yes, I'm expecting a lot of snow this month. I just am. So we're at 10 inches right now. 30 is our average. So I think that's always good to talk about the average. I just went back and I actually looked at year to year. It is unbelievable. A lot of years were like 8, 7, 20, 80, 70. It's so wild. This year we're at 10. The reason I go with that is I do expect us to play catch up to that. St. Cloud's had a lot more snow, and so obviously has Duluth. Now Duluth gets lake effect, so it's not as, you can't really compare them, but you can compare St. Cloud because St. Cloud's had 6 inches more about, and that just lets you know that a lot of these little systems have stayed just to our north so far this year. -1, -4, -8 in Brainerd. Again, we have temperatures that are below zero. We've got double digits and actually 14, 16 degrees below in International Falls. It is cold. Winds right now at 5 to 10. That makes it bite. It definitely makes it bite out here. -17, -15. I tell you what, I got up this morning. I was like, what? The car was like back to the middle of winter, back to middle of January, and now back we go. I think we're gonna have a lot of mornings like this, especially after our snowstorms, which we're gonna have that chance on Wednesday. So that means Thursday's cold, and then Saturday, and that means Sunday, Monday are cold. And that's kind of the setup that it's gonna be. You warm up to the snowstorm. Today is a cold day, 11, wind chills at around 0, 1 degree. 11 and 14 for the high today. Mostly cloudy skies, pretty quiet. Satellite and radar, just a couple flakes in there. There's always flurries when it's below 20 degrees and cloudy. So here's the moisture coming in from California, not Northern California. This is a good sign for snow lovers. Whenever California gets, I hate to say this, but whenever there's flooding in California, that is an indication of heavy snow in the Midwest. Almost every time they get flooding, we start to get major snowstorms in the Midwest. That's a correlation, and that's what we're gonna start seeing because it's driving in that moisture. All that energy that Cali has, it has to move across the country, and that gives us lows. So the high pressure for tomorrow morning keeps us pretty quiet. Here comes the low pressure center. This gives us already some snow here by Wednesday evening. This is interesting because we're so far away from the low. This is why high moisture content from the Gulf and the Pacific, we have moisture in place tomorrow. Just having this cold air that we have today, all you have to do is pop a little warm air on it, and boom, you get snow. It's very easy sometimes. So I think we're changing the setup here to actually have more snow on days that don't expect a lot of snow. Wednesday could be one of those. And then Wednesday night, you'll see the low itself. Now you're starting to see the heavy snow off in northern Minnesota. And I do expect this system with the low moving up there to be more impactful in northern Minnesota. So here's the potential for 2 inches. You got Twin Cities and St. Cloud on the edge here. So the model underneath this is the Euro. You see how it's kind of choppy in here? That's why it's got us around 1, but it's very clear that right here, that's the 2-3 inch zone. Down here, Mankato, Wilmer, you're probably out. And listen, I live in Carver County, and I'm kind of like, ½ inch, 1 inch again. That's what I'm expecting in Carver County. If I'm in northern Hennepin County, if I'm watching in Forest Lake or Blaine, I'm like, I'm going to get 3 or 4 inches, and that is definitely possible again. So we're kind of divided on Wednesday. I will tell you, the low on Saturday looks good. Again, we talked about tons of moisture out there, so there's no lack of that. So Saturday to me looks like it's got all the indications of a snowstorm, which would be great. Oh, the kids could get out there and play. It's not going to be too cold over the weekend as well.
welcome back. What was that?
It was the way
felt like old-timey,
The old-timey
yeah,
Chicago. If you like puzzles, you'll like this story.
A woman you're about to meet loves puzzles as she put together puzzles the size of entire walls.
Oh my goodness, walls. Wood Hooper looks at what motivates her to spend months at a time on her masterpieces.
Life can be a puzzle sometimes, or all the time.
This is where it starts.
If you're Linda Grosskreitz.
First thing I do is usually do edge pieces.
Then,
I'll do a 1,000-piece puzzle in a day.
the next day, she might do another and another.
For me, it's relaxing.
So many puzzles on shelves.
I don't know.
Linda's lost count.
Well, I know I have 35 Amy Stewarts.
And that's just one puzzle creator.
And this one came from my father-in-law. He thought he would stump me with the world's most difficult jigsaw puzzle, but I got it done in one day.
I don't have the patience.
Husband Jeff.
I'd rather go watch the football game or something.
Did buy Linda 38 puzzles for their 38th anniversary.
I think it's her piece.
But with room at home for only so many pieces, why not?
I started the Mankato Puzzle Library about 3 years ago. It just gives everybody more of a chance to find more puzzles.
And who doesn't need more?
I've done that one. I've done that one.
Have you done that one?
Yes.
Have you done that one?
Mm-hmm.
We all have something that we enjoy more than everything else.
It's not any different than spending 4 or 5 hours at a time on the lake fishing.
Fishing, then mounting.
Yep.
Your trophies.
This is 9,000 pieces. This was my first large puzzle.
Linda's first.
Yeah, that one's 5,000 pieces.
Was not her last.
I did this one right after the Twin Towers came down. I went online and ordered it. This puzzle's 18,000 pieces. It was a gift from a distant relative in Germany.
Then,
yeah,
on she went.
18,000 pieces. I think this one probably took me 6 months maybe. We ran out of walls that were big enough, and one day Jeff goes, well, you know, we could split it and put it around the corner. It's 24,000 pieces. This puzzle has its own website.
Where Linda is pictured as the first Minnesotan to put together what was, at the time, the world's largest puzzle. Till it wasn't.
This puzzle is 40,320 pieces. It's a little over 22 feet long.
The box weighed 44 pounds.
And it came in 10 bags.
The Grosskreitzes bought their new house to fit it.
What throws realtors off is when you say, well, we're looking for particular wall space for large puzzles.
I knew I didn't have room for this one.
Room on the wall, room on her shelves, room for the rest of Linda's life.
You go to the old folks' homes, there's always puzzles there, so I'll bring my collection when I go.
Boyd Hubert, Carol 11 News, Madison Lake.
I admire the dedication. I spend 5 minutes
Patience,
with a puzzle.
the patience, yeah.
I'm done. I just forget it.
I
just
just
gonna go
do
play
the
my video
edges,
games.
and then I'm like, the middle part doesn't matter.
We'll let a smart person figure that out. I'm good.
My son's puzzles are as much as I'll do. They're like 10 pieces. Imagine though she rents those
love
out, or
that.
like the library. If one goes missing, it's all like,
Yeah,
that's
that's it.
puzzle.
It's
That's
ruined.
it.
What do you do? I mean, the contentment. She's just a content human. There's something special about that. You know, just the piece of putting the pieces together.
Don't have a lot of content humans nowadays.
Well, no, I struggle with that. You know, I'm always like, let's go do something.
That's
you know.
why you fish. That's your puzzle.
Yeah, well, that is about as calm as I go, is fishing. Like, I struggle to do anything, but fishing, somehow I can just sit there. So I try to focus on that a lot, because otherwise, yeah, I need to be, like, running around. But I can't even watch, like, movies. Yeah, I got problems. 14 degrees on Tuesday. That's today. Today is a cold day. I'm taking a little break inside, let the hands get some feeling back in them. It's cold out there. 0 degrees now. We've warmed up from -1. Wind chills are minus 15. I've actually been working on a little graphic here on exact totals on Wednesday. I'm gonna give this a shot. We're right on the edge here in the Twin Cities. I do expect an inch or two in the metro. It's gonna be quick. It might come during the evening hours before it moves into northern Minnesota and Wisconsin. Thursday and Friday look pretty quiet, but Friday I'm expecting snow late. This just looks, I mean, sometimes it looks like, oh, it's a guarantee, and then it always pulls a fast one on us and moves out of here, but Saturday just looks like a snowstorm. So it just has the look to it. Saturday morning, and we're due for one, right? So hopefully we can get one on Saturday.
Good morning. It is 8:33. Thanks for joining us here on KARE 11 Plus, streaming here at 0 degrees outside.
Perfect streaming weather, by the way.
Yes, out or don't be outside if you don't have to be. It was what, 52 was like a record was it Tuesday, a week from today?
I think it was.
Was
like
it
last
Tuesday, John? You should know.
No, I should. I thought it was
Bummer.
Thursday.
You don't remember?
All the days blend together at this point.
It was Thursday,
Was
right?
it Thursday?
It was Thursday?
I think it was 52 on Thursday. Yeah, it's Thursday. I was running in shorts and I was actually comfortable in a shorts and a t-shirt. And now it's crazy how much colder it is. Ugh, you know, I know. It's like, oh, okay. I thought we were there. We got another month and a half. But yes, it is going to be great for people who want winter. And I know there's a lot of you out there. And to be honest with you, my kids haven't gone sledding one time. So like, I kind of wanted it. I kind of want it. And I actually think that while Wednesday we're going to get some problems on the roads, maybe Thursday morning. I don't think it's major because maybe it can come in later Wednesday. I do, however, think Saturday morning, if there's a great time to get snow, it's over the weekend. I know it always impacts somebody, but I think we're going to see snow Saturday. There's just a really good chance. We're still at -1. It just went to 0, and I was back to -1. -8 in Brainerd, -14 in Bemidji. It is cold, back below 0 we go in February, and we're seeing a wind at 5 to 10 miles per hour. It feels like -17. Definitely not warm out here. It definitely took me by surprise when I got up this morning and I was like, oh yes, it is February. I have to remind yourself, winter in Minnesota is through March, so we have 2 months of this left. I mean, March is like December, so think about December, right? It's about the same deal, so yeah, we got 2 months, so we could see a lot of snow and a lot of days like today. Temperatures hanging around 10, 11 degrees, wind chills, if you can see them here, that's noon at -6. It will be cold through noon. Afternoon, we should make it to 0 for the wind chill, but bundle up if you're going to be out there all day long. 10 to 14 for highs, single digits to the north, maybe 18 in Rochester. That's going to be your warm spot. Right now, some light cloud covers coming over, so this is not the densest cloud, not the most dense, I guess I should say, but there's a lot of moisture coming. This is what we call a long wave trough. So a low pressure center is a hyperlocal piece of energy that busts off of this long wave trough. This is a pattern change. So this could just sit here for a while, right? So this is the moisture that is going to start launching across the Rockies and then moving into the Midwest. Well, that ups our chances for snow. It just does. Okay, so let's get, that was the one I was working on. I'll show you the one. I chose not to use that one. I'll use the one coming up, if you're wondering what that graphic was. So high pressure is tomorrow morning. That means that we're quiet. It'll actually start warming up. I think we'll see cloud cover increasing, and then here comes your low. Precip wants to come through the metro, and it looks pretty likely we're going to see this at 5, 6, 7 o'clock. Could see an inch or two. Then this is going to lift to the north, and then as we go into the evening hours Wednesday, we are going to see a swath of snow. Now at this point, the Twin Cities is kind of on the edge, and I've been showing you this, but we've seen about the best chance for 2 inches is the Twin Cities northeast. Both models agree with that, and here's the one I was trying to get to you. This is what I do expect something like this. Now we're not going to get exactly 1.9, but around 1 to 2, 3 when you get up to Pine City, Hinckley, St. Cloud, and Brainerd. But you see how Mankato and down just southwest pocket of the Twin Cities is lower? That's what I'm expecting, 1/2 inch to 1 inch down there. But yeah, we do have to prepare for impacts with another 1 to 3 on the way.
Good morning. For the most part, it's relatively quiet outside. I mean, I just got done looking at a crash clear in St. Paul on 94 westbound, so things are okay near Mounds Boulevard now. But there is a crash that just popped up on 62. I'm going to check that out, and when I see you next, if it's still an issue, I'll mention it to you. But other than that, the slowdowns are starting to clear up as we reach 9 a.m.
Well, this morning, a trade war with two top U.S. allies has been averted, at least for now.
But in just the last 8 hours, the White House slapped new tariffs on imported goods coming from China, and leaders there are responding. Here's NBC's Alice Barr.
You're seeing that what's happened just in
minutes after President Trump's 10% tariff on all Chinese imports took effect overnight, the Chinese government retaliating, announcing a new 15% tariff on U.S. coal and liquefied natural gas and a 10% tariff on U.S. products from crude oil to pickup trucks. While on another front, President Trump announced a 30-day delay in 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada after both agreed to beef up border security, Mexico sending troops.
10,000 soldiers at their side of the border and stop fentanyl and illegal aliens from coming into our country.
Canada promising a new fentanyl czar while moving ahead with a previously announced $1.3 billion to reinforce its border, sending 10,000 frontline personnel. That amid a brewing standoff over the power of President Trump's cost-slashing ally Elon Musk. The White House designating the world's richest man a special government employee with top-secret security clearance, giving him access to sensitive government systems like Treasury Department payments.
Well, he's got access only to letting people go that he thinks are no good if we agree with him.
Musk looking to let a lot of people go at the U.S. Agency for International Development, which delivers critical food, medicine, and humanitarian support to 60 countries. Proponents say shoring up national security. Musk argues there's too much waste in the agency's $42 billion budget, pressing to shut it down.
Elon Musk did not create USAID. He doesn't have the power to destroy it.
Democratic lawmakers fighting to save an organization that is authorized and funded by Congress.
Well, developing now, the federal government is investigating reports of anti-Semitism at the University of Minnesota. Audrey Russo joins us from the newsroom with what we know right now. Hey, Audrey.
Good morning, Jason, Alicia. Yeah, university administrators tell us that the news of this investigation is less than a day old. They got the notification from the feds about 15 hours ago. They say they're cooperating and committed to responding to reports of anti-Semitism. Now, this investigation stems back to last spring's protests over the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The Education Department accuses the protests of, quote, paralyzing campus life with encampments. Now, at the time, university officials met with both pro-Palestinian groups and Jewish student leaders to try to ease some of that tension. I've been checking the social media accounts for those student groups, and so far they haven't responded to this news of this investigation, but we will let you know if they do. Now, the U of M is one of 5 universities receiving this federal scrutiny, which began with an executive order from President Trump. Back to you.
All right, Audrey, thanks for that. Well, the federal investigation comes as the university's president, Rebecca Cunningham, reaffirms commitment to the school's DEI practices amid federal scrutiny. In a letter to staff and students, Cunningham said the university is pausing its DEI expansion and hiring until federal policies are further clarified. The letter follows the Trump administration's executive orders to roll back DEI programming across the country.
Let's say Minnesota House Republicans will officially launch a recall effort against DFL legislators who have been boycotting the session. The recall petition process officially began in the last 15 hours when the 66 DFL lawmakers once again did not show up to the House floor session. House DFLers are boycotting the session in protest to the GOP's plan to organize with a temporary one-seat majority. The House GOP is launching a website today, www.minnesotarecall.com. So here's what else is happening at the state capitol today. Minnesota IVF patients and advocates will hold a rally in the Rotunda. They're calling on lawmakers to ensure all Minnesotans have access to insurance coverage for fertility treatment. Now, Governor Walz is kicking off tax season by encouraging Minnesotans to claim the child tax credit when filing your state income tax return. And the State Senate Finance Committee will review federal funds coming to the state.
Well, take a look at your screen right now. Officials are looking for this man, 46-year-old Billy Mason, who they say escaped from sheriff's deputies at the jail in downtown Minneapolis. Officials say he was being transported to Ramsey County for a warrant when he ran through an open garage door at the jail around 3 p.m. Sunday. He's 5'10", and the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office says he was last wearing a black t-shirt, blue jeans, and black shoes. Anyone with information should call 911.
Well, time now 8:42. Right now, salvage crews in Washington, D.C. are back on the Potomac River removing wreckage from last week's deadly midair collision. You can see a crane there pulling a piece of the plane from the water. The process began in the last 24 hours with crews removing the largest section of the plane yesterday. Officials are hoping to remove the cockpit today as long as the weather cooperates. Their other priority is to find the remains of the victims still trapped inside the wreckage. So far, investigators have identified 55 of the 67 people killed. They say they recovered more remains yesterday, but they haven't been identified yet.
The NHL laying down the hammer against Minnesota Wild forward Ryan Hartman. He's suspended for the next 10 games, including tonight's matchup against the Bruins. The punishment stems from this play. You're going to see it here where Hartman slams his opponent's head into the ice right after faceoff. You see his helmet even fly off. He was ejected from the match after the hit. It marks the longest suspension in franchise history. The Wild play tonight in Boston at 6. Not good. Not good at all. Well, Timberwolves have 3 home games in the next 4 days, and they need a win after dropping their last 2. They kept it close, though, against the Kings, and with a chance to tie it at the end or at least win it. Jaden McDaniels lost the ball out of bounds. Kings hold on and win 116-114. The Wolves host the Bulls tomorrow night, and the Rockets Thursday. And mark your calendar, Saturday. We're going to get snow anyway, so you might as well just stay in, watch some basketball right here on KARE 11. The Wolves' 5-game homestand wraps up with the Portland Trailblazers. Tip-off is 7. But yes, it's supposed to snow, so good TV.
Yeah, hopefully they can.
Great.
Hopefully they can get a win while you're snowed inside watching.
You got to heal up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also gel a little. We had 2 wins, so we went on that 5-game win streak. I was like, 2 free wins, going to be 7.
Right, and then you lose to, who do they lose to? Washington.
Washington, worse than
so bad, yeah.
And then you lose to the Kings, who just traded away their best
player, and they were not a good team.
Yeah.
I don't get it. This team is confusing. So let's talk about that snow quick. As we go to Wednesday morning, nice quiet start here. Tomorrow morning, you do not have to plan any extra time. It will be still probably 10 degrees, but it'll be better than this morning. Here comes this little warm front here. The main system is going to still stay down to the south, but this little warm air that comes in here Wednesday, it looks like it's at 4 or 5. So by the afternoon, we got to be prepared for this. Then this shifts to the north into northern Minnesota. Now, this is where we're going to accumulate 3 or 4 inches of snow because the low is coming overhead. You want the low to really just skim southern Minnesota if you want a major snowstorm. Now, we haven't had that yet. Saturday's our first chance for that. But this one I got to get through first before we can really dive into Saturday. But again, this is northern Minnesota. It comes across us, so 3:30 in the morning Thursday. Flurries, but 3:30, still with some flurries. If we get a couple of inches, northwest winds behind this, yeah, there's going to be ice. So you got to be aware of that. That Wednesday afternoon and evening is dicey, and so is Thursday morning. Accumulations for this, we're really going to track this. Now, if this shifts 50 miles this way, Twin Cities could be left with very little. If it shifts the other way, we're in the bulk. This is the models for the best chance for 2 inches, and they both give us a good chance for 2 inches here in Brainerd, St. Cloud, and Duluth. Twin Cities is on the edge. You can see 0.6 in Mankato. So again, this is not a situation where I'm like, yes, we're going to see 2 or 3. I would say we're right now prepare for 1 to 2. If it stays the same, obviously any shifts, we'll let you know.
So if your kid just ran to the television now, my bad. This video went viral on TikTok last year. In it, you could see toddlers and young kids reacting, some even running frantically into the room the second they heard that CoComelon theme on the TV. Adorable, no doubt, but it got us to thinking, is there any actual value in these shows for kids? This article that you're seeing here from Forbes argues that there isn't. In it, experts claim these shows hamper critical brain development through overstimulation and decreased attention spans, even going as far as listing CoComelon and Miss Rachel as shows that you should avoid. Not Miss Rachel. So I wanted to get some insight from a local expert. I reached out to Kelsey Dressel with Blossom Child Psychology Center. She says every child's development is different, so you don't have to turn off the TV just yet. It's a case-by-case basis, but you should watch out for red flags.
Some of those red flags are going to be like hard time transitioning off the TV or a show, so turning it off. Maybe bigger emotions or tantrums you might see. Sleep difficulties, so maybe a kid having a hard time falling asleep or staying asleep. Less imaginative play. And then maybe even just requesting more TV time.
Yeah, I gotta watch out for those. The other question I had, can kids actually learn anything from these shows? She says yes, but it depends on how they're consuming it and who they're watching it with.
They might learn academic stuff like numbers and letters. They might learn social things like how to interact with other people. But again, it's also passive. So they're just viewing it versus actually like engaging in some of those skills more actively. Technology's here, right? Like it's not going away. So to kind of enrich that experience is more about how do you join in with your kids? So more co-viewing shows together. That allows you then to like have those more interactions with your kids, asking about the show, maybe laughing along with them.
Yeah, she understands that you can't deprive your kids of technology. It's the way of the world now, but you just gotta be careful and moderate. So this is the other tough part. In general, Kelsey says no screen time between 0 and 2 years old, and between 2 years old and 5 years old, less than an hour a day, which you as parents are saying,
guilty.
Don't know about
No
that.
way. 0 to no screen time. That's like when CoComelon was on in my house.
Yeah.
It's prime CoComelon time.
I don't know.
I mean, my kids are now getting out of that age because 5-year-old's my youngest. But I will tell you, she said something really good in there. We struggle whenever you got to like clean the house, right? Let's say you got to clean the house, it takes 3 hours. You're going to put the kids in front of TV, right? I don't know how else you would entertain them.
Or dinner. I literally, my kid, it's pad time. He gets pad time before dinner every night, so I can go
get some
do
stuff,
that.
Get some stuff done.
Gotta get stuff done.
But when you pull it away from them after a bender, you know, like for them, there is like a reaction and then they lose their mind.
Is this a bad time to compare kids to my dogs? Because if I give them a treat or a toy to play with or something like a chew toy that they're occupied with while I'm busy and I try to take it away from them, especially Gracie, and I know you're watching, she will go crazy if I try to take her toy away.
I'm really concerned about her development, you know, as she gets older. Is she going to be social with
I'm worried
other
about
dogs?
her going to college. I don't know if she's going to make it.
I think there's some correlation to like raising dogs, raising your parents, or kids.
Raising your parents.
Do you raise parents?
No,
but I just think like,
Here, Mom.
Okay, if you give your dog food at the table, they start freaking out, right?
Yeah.
If you just keep, so yeah, I think if you give them the drug, it's, well.
You gotta be strict.
Yes.
Can't cave when they want the pad back. You gotta be like, it's gone.
You know what I've learned? It's really easy to use words and be like, do that, and then when you're in the taking
different.
bullets,
Totally
it's
different.
It is, and parents out there know, when it's chaos and you start losing your mind.
Oh, chaos theory again. Let's talk about it. I'm just kidding.
Tony, I hope he's watching. That's a whole class I took. I have a book, Chaos Theory. Anyways, we watched the butterfly effect moment in Jurassic Park like 10 times. Anyways, why did you get me on that? Morning. It is cold out here, but I'm getting pretty used to it. About 15 below zero. Hey, we're at 17 below now. Kind of bouncing around that 15 to 20 below zero mark. And you can see 29 below in Grand Rapids. Sorry, those kids, I'm sure the kids things about your home, we could just talk. You can just talk for hours. I mean, but I do like hearing that input. That was a good story. Minus 15 in Mankato. Sorry, back to it. Temperatures and wind chills. So the top one is the temperatures. Bottom one is the wind chill. You can see here is noon. 6 degrees, minus 6 at noon. So you need to be dressed appropriately today. It is a cold day. I don't care what time of the year it is. This is a cold one. I'm going 14, 12 in St. Cloud. Depends on the cloud cover. If it's a little thicker clouds, we might struggle to get past 12 or 13. You could see the clouds are even adding a couple flurries Remember, well, if you're new to KARE 11 Plus, I always say if it's less than 20 degrees and it's cloudy, it's flurries. There's always going to be. It's just it literally just squeezes it out of the atmosphere. So here is the big change. Look at San Francisco getting a lot of rain. How does that correlate to us? Why would I care about that? Well, for California to get rain, they don't get low pressure centers out there, right? Well, they do, but they're different. They don't get these little lows that come across the country. They just, all you have to do in California is dig a long wave trough and then just add moisture. Well, what does that mean for us? Well, when you dig a long wave trough, now you get these little pieces of energy off of this and they spin across the country. Those are called snowstorms for us. First one comes in tomorrow. High pressure tomorrow morning, that means it's all good tomorrow morning. That low comes off of what I just showed you in San Francisco. So this is 5 o'clock. Snow. It's going to snow easier than it has in the past because we're in a good setup now. What I mean by that is this snow that actually is really far from that low, it's just going to snow because of warm air advection and some high moisture content. That's it. So that gives us snow at 5 or 6. When the low actually comes in, you'll see that now the actual swath of snow will lift north of Minneapolis. So we might only get snow tomorrow afternoon and evening for a short time frame, and then this will clear out Thursday. Now, I do expect some colder air Thursday to funnel in behind this. So how much snow are we going to get? Potential for 2+. I always look at this as the shovel amount of snow. Now, you got both models on the Twin Cities right now saying we're going to get 2. I'm a little skeptical, right? Because you can see, I can tell you right now, the further in this blue you get, your percentage is going up rapid. I would say it's 50-50 in Minneapolis. If you're watching right now in Hinckley or Pine City, you got like an 80% chance of getting 2 inches. If you're watching it, well, nobody watching Grand Rapids, I think you're watching Duluth, but if you're in Grand Rapids or going to Grand Rapids, they've got a 95% chance of 2 inches of snow. So you get the idea, and the percentages drop off. So here's what we got for accumulations. If this shifts any which direction, it will massively change accumulation in the Twin Cities. Mille Lacs, it doesn't matter which way this shifts, you're going to get it. So you get the idea. Mille Lacs is my bullseye for this one coming in Wednesday. Thursday and Friday, very quiet, and then snow again Saturday with the Timberwolves on KARE 11.
All right. While John was talking, actually a stalled vehicle situation cleared in Lauderdale. 280 southbound, a lane was blocked near Broadway Ave. So after moving toward 94, you should be A-okay in that area.
Lonnie, we're at the door. Here's some news to go. The U.S. has staved off a trade war with 2 of its top allies, at least for now.
While you were sleeping, President Trump's 10% tariff against imported goods coming from China took effect. China fired back early this morning, announcing a new 15% tariff on American coal and liquefied natural gas. That's on top of a 10% tariff on U.S. products, from crude oil to pickup trucks, all set to take effect next Monday. China also called out specific U.S. companies like Google. It's now being investigated for alleged antitrust violations.
The U of M facing questions from the federal government over reports of anti-Semitism. The U is one of 5 colleges nationwide that's under this type of federal scrutiny. It all stems back to the protests and encampments on campus last spring as tensions escalated between Israel and Palestine.
All right, so here's your 7-day forecast here. 14 today, very quiet. Tomorrow, snow in the evening hours, so watch out for your evening commute. Maybe still slick Thursday morning with the 1 to 3 inches of snow we could get. And then Saturday, that's your bigger day for real snow, like 4-6 inches we're talking on Saturday, if it works out. We'll see. CC?
So there are maybe like 4 stalled vehicle situations, crashes around the metro total. So they're clearing up right now. Tow trucks there, not impacting your commute. The only thing I'm seeing right now is a busy way toward 394. Everything else looks pretty good.
All right, Cece, thank you. Before we go here, do you have a love bug this Valentine's
like a trolley
Day?
What is that? Yeah.
Doesn't it look like a trolley?
I feel like that was.
Yeah. Or do you have an ex that you just can't stand? Either way, the Minnesota Zoo is inviting you to name a bug in someone's honor this Valentine's Day. That tongue is just, wow.
Doing its thing.
That will become food for one of their lions, opossums, or turtles. The $15 donation supports the zoo. Recipients will receive an e-card to let them know you were thinking about them. Aw, that does look like a trolley.
Want a worm? Remember that ad?
Oh, why did it do that?
Did it like pop?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
what was that? That was squirted.
Slimy yet satisfying.
I don't like the.
This would be really random for me to just put a girlfriend from like 20 years ago up, like
I don't like
15
the
years ago.
e-card idea.
Yeah.
I don't like,
And then
"Oh,
they
I'm
get
doing
that,
this." Yeah.
like, and then they feel so sad about it. Like, we broke up 20 years ago.
I feel like the alternative is therapy. I feel
Right.
like just do therapy. If you have such resentment for your ex, just
What if that
work
is
it
their
out.
therapy?
Right.
I mean,
If your therapy is revenge and vengeance, it's probably not the best way to live life.
yeah, and you still need therapy.
But support the zoo and feed them.
Yeah, I'm like, this is great for the
Totally,
zoo.
yeah.
$15 for a bug. It might just be fun for your kid to name a bug.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be vindictive.
No,
right.
it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Or
Look
name
at
it after
us.
the school
I'm
bully
scared
or
of you over
something. I
there.
don't know.
School bully.
You were saying that was therapeutic to hurt
No, for
people.
some people, it's a bug.
Oh, wow. Well, all God's creatures are special, but
It's a bug.
fine.
Oh, the music's
gonna
on.
happen
That's like our
anyway,
cue. The music is playing. Hey, that's a wrap from us here on Care 11 Plus. Thanks for streaming.